Hello, I'm Stefan from the 22 Dividends app, and in this presentation I want to have a look back on the previous year and the developments in the 22 Dividends app. And I also want to provide you an outlook on the year 2022 and what to expect from the 22 Dividends app. Yeah, we started the year 2021 with the release of version 1.4 in February. This was a really big change for the application. We changed the entire structure. For example, now this side-scrolling behavior between the four main screens was introduced in this version. We changed the color scheme, so the coloring of the entire application, and we also redesigned the different views. For example, before the portfolio view, it was much more complex. Now we splitted it up into the cash flow and the value gain. This menu on the right hand side was also introduced. It can be used to navigate to the different views, the four main views: overview, portfolio, shopping list, and the transactions, and also the 5 additional views. What we also introduced is the dividend watch that helps you to track the upcoming dividend payments and X days very easily in a graphical way. You get a countdown, and we also redesigned the different cards. So now you can also have an eye on the current market yield, but also on the average start yield of your position and your cash flow. In this version, we also introduced a new welcome screen for onboarding the users. And this screen is really important because it tells the user what the application not is. Because many users download an application, they have certain expectations, and if the expectations are not met, then they leave a bad review. But it's not the fault of the application, because perhaps the application was not intended for the purpose they were looking for. And so now the welcome screen states that the 22 Dividends app is a portfolio tracker. It's not an investigation tool, because many people look for new suggestions for investments, and this is not the main focus of the 22 Dividends app. The next bigger release was in April with version 1.5. We continued the update of the entire application, the UI design, and this was the version where we introduced the overview screen. And as you now know, the overview screen provides you an overview of the dividend income, the cash flow, and the average during the previous 12 months. You get an overview of the buy and sell transactions you did. For example, if you want to invest, let's say, $500 each month, you can track this with this chart, whether you are on track, whether you are fulfilling your goals. And we also introduced those pie charts that visualize the composition of your portfolio, and also the sectors, the different sectors that you have in your portfolio. Version 1.6 was released in May. The main feature of version 1.6 was the transaction browser, which continued the further redesign of the application. Before the transaction browser, the 22 Dividends app used a mechanism where you had to create the portfolio positions explicitly. So you first created the portfolio position, and then you were able to add transactions. And this was really confusing for new users. So what we did is we incorporated a mechanism that automatically derives the portfolio positions from your transactions. And the portfolio view only shows the open positions. All closed positions are not visible in the portfolio view, but you can find the transactions in the transaction browser. And the transaction browser is also really important if you import or export your stock transactions. It might happen that, for example, if you edit some data in the transactions and they don't match anymore, that you have duplicate transactions in your transaction browser. And yeah, now in the transaction browser you just delete them or edit them and they are gone. So it's much easier than before. And we also changed the search screen. The search screen has now this quick select panel of frequently used stocks, and we also redesigned the search bar. Version 1.7 was released in June. The main purpose of this release was the redesign of the shopping list page. It was the final step in the redesign of the application. What we did is we used elements from the portfolio page, like the dividend watch and the 52-week min-max bar, and integrated it to the shopping list items. And yeah, there are some users of the 22 Dividends app who don't track their transactions, their portfolio with the app. They just use it for watching upcoming dividends. And for those users, the shopping list is especially interesting. And now the dividend watch and the bar, they help those users a lot. And what we also improved in this version is special dividends, the integration of special dividends. Now the dividend calendar shows special dividend payments beside the regular dividend payments. And also the payday page now highlights special dividend payments. Version 1.8 was released in July. This version introduced drip transactions to the 22 Dividends app. Drip transactions are used to tell the application that you bought stocks or additional shares of a stock with money that you received from a dividend payment. So you reinvest the dividends. And this allows the application to calculate the impact of those reinvested dividends and to visualize it. This is still not the case. We still have no explicit drip investment chart. This is still one thing on the to-do list, but you can add your drip transactions, and one day we will add this chart, and then you can really see the performance, how it increases exponentially. The summer months were pretty quiet in terms of new releases of the 22 Dividends app, but behind the scenes we were working really a lot on technical improvements, internal improvements that allow us to grow the app and add further features. Version 1.9 was released in November. This was also a really important release for us because it introduced the Pro version. Before, the application was completely free. In the beginning, we experimented with ads, normal ads, but I don't like ads. I think it lowers the perceived value of the application. It's annoying as user. So first, then I removed the ads. Then I experimented with affiliate links. So we presented books in the application that are interesting for dividend investors that I myself like. But however, this was not accepted by the users. Users didn't use those affiliate links. And yeah, probably because they perceived them also as ads, which was not the purpose. So we removed the affiliate links, and now we have the Pro version that costs $5 per month. And yeah, it shows us that you value our work, and we also have to finance the development of the app. We also have to buy each month the stock data, and it just helps us to further improve the application. Version 1.9 10 was the recent release of the 22 Dividends app. It was released in December, and it was also a big update, but not in terms of functionality. We added ETF support. So this was a requested feature from users, and it also makes sense. So we just had to think about how to integrate the ETFs into the application so that we don't break the flow. And yeah, now it's in, and I'm really happy about it. Yeah, beside the extension of the application, we had also some other things going on. We added new stock exchanges. We added new help pages to the application. On the homepage you can find tutorials. We improved the web page. Of course, this needs much more work, but yeah, the time is limited. And we also have now the Facebook group. It's not very active currently. We mainly use it for releases, to announce releases. You can provide us feedback. And yeah, we hope that we can further develop this community in the next year. So now comes the interesting part. What's next for the 22 Dividends app in 2022? We will start the year with the release of the performance screen, the performance page that will allow you to get reports of your portfolio positions for a certain time span. So you select a time span, for example, a certain year, a certain month, a certain quarter, and you get a report like this one. You will also be able to specify tax rates so that you get an estimate. Of course, this cannot be exact, but it will help you to get an estimate. And the idea is also to use this functionality to generate reports, for example, to have weekly reports, monthly reports, quarterly reports, or yearly reports. For example, this is now interesting for 2021. You get a report of your single positions and also your entire portfolio. And further idea, for example, is to add a pie chart, performance pie charts, where you can see how the different positions of your portfolio contribute to the overall performance of your portfolio. Or you could have a performance chart that shows the performance of your portfolio over the entire year. Or you could have a chart that highlights the contributions of the DRIP transactions to the overall performance, as already explained earlier on the DRIP slide. The next feature that you can expect for 2022 is a tool for predicting the development of your portfolio. This here is a prototype. It's here on this page. It's a web page, but we are going to integrate this tool into the application. And what you can do with this tool is you can specify the different parameters of a stock, and you can specify your expected growth rate of the dividends and also the value, the price per the share price. And you can specify those values. For example, you expect a dividend growth over the next years of about 8%, and the share price you expect to rise 5%. You can specify those values, and this tool predicts or computes the development of the stock. For example, if you have two different stocks and you have to decide in which one to invest, you can enter your expectations of the development of those stocks, and you can compare the development over time. This is especially interesting because human brains are not made for expansion, to understand exponential growth very well, and this tool helps you to visualize it. And we will integrate parts of this tool into the 22 Dividends app. So you will be able to specify for each of your portfolio positions your expectations regarding dividend growth and value growth. So if you open a new position, you have a certain expectation what should happen. So you specify this and you can track this over time. And for example, after half a year, after 1 year, after 2 years, whether your position is performing as you expected. Those two features are already work in progress and will be released, I guess, in January, February. And there are some more things on our list. For example, we had the request to support multiple portfolios. And there is the issue that I don't want to do it the simple way. So the simple way would be to have a menu where you select a certain portfolio. But I don't like this idea. So I fear that it will disturb the flow of the entire application. And that's not what I want to have. So I want to have a way to have multiple portfolios, but to define sets of stocks across portfolios. So for example, you have growth stocks, you have value stocks or whatever, and you can define those groups, but you can also have multiple portfolios. And this will take some work to integrate this into the application. Another thing is the community mode. This would be really cool to have. Privacy is really important to us. So your stock data is only stored on your device, and you are also responsible for creating backups. But what would be really cool is to have a kind of community mode that is optional, so you can join the community or not. And if you join the community, then you share statistics about your data. So you don't share your data, only some statistics that are not connected to you or to your person. For example, what stock did you buy in the last week? What stock did you sell? And in this way, we could collect the data in the community and generate reports. And those reports are available to the community members. So if you don't join the community, you don't share your data, but you also cannot receive the reports. But this will also be a major piece of work. Then a really big feature that will come next year. It's a lot of work, but we really need it. Non-US stock exchanges. And this feature will come next year, but it might take some time. Another feature that might be around the corner is a desktop version for macOS, but this is not so urgent. I just put it on the slide. If you are interested in one of the features or you have other ideas, please comment it down below in the comments. We are always open for feedback. We want to know what you are really interested in. Finally, I also want to mention some things that we want to improve. For example, I'm really bad in responding emails. I know this, and really sorry if it takes some times until I respond. I read your email, and yeah, I have to improve this in the future. And also, for example, the social media posts. Currently, I'm not very active. I'm mainly developing, and I don't produce much content for the Facebook group, for example. And yeah, I want to improve it, but let's see. This was the outlook for the 22 Dividends app for the next year, 2022. Thanks for watching this video until this point. I wish you a happy new year. Stay healthy, stay focused on your goals in life, and yeah, also in investing. And we see us next year. Bye.